I will request the acting city manager, in this case is Dr. Musa Kumete, to read the notice convening the meeting. Ngoni.
Thank you, Speaker.
Can our technical team assist the site?
Thank you, Speaker. Notice of meeting to all members of the eThekwini Council in terms of Section 29(1) of the Local Government Municipal Structures Act number 117 of 1998. Members are hereby notified that an ordinary meeting of the eThekwini Municipal Council will be held on Thursday, the 28th of July 2022 at 10 a.m. through Microsoft Teams, to be streamed from Durban City Hall, dated 11/07/2022. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kumete. I would like to officially welcome Amakosas and Lungolo, who are part of this meeting. I also want to welcome all councillors who are also present here, officials from various or different units led by the city manager, and members of the media. We also want to welcome all the members of the public who are streaming live to this council meeting. We appreciate the members of the public who always participate in this meeting. You are all welcome, and the meeting is officially open. We will now all stand up and receive the rendition of the national anthem. Let's all stand up and get the national anthem. Thank you. Let's all observe a moment of silence. Thank you very much. You may be seated. Thank you very much for the national anthem. Will now thank thank you. Apologies, councillors. There was a little bit of a problem with our microphones. This side we are now sorted. Thank you. We will now receive the announcements. These announcements, I believe, all councillors received them through your emails. Councillors are requested to complete the attended register posted on the MS Team chat platform. Administration is available to assist councillors who are struggling to open and complete the attended register. Councillors, it has become a practice that we always remind you about this attended register that we discuss in one of our council meetings. Please make sure that you use it. If you are struggling, there is a team to assist. Council pay tribute to the fearless, strong, a unifier, and the humble Deputy Secretary General of the ANC, Comrade J.C. Duarte, who will always be remembered as a servant of the people. Condolences to her family, friends, and relatives, as well as the ANC on her passing during the course of this month. Council is saddened about the news of the loss of the former ANC councillor, Councillor Nomthandazo Shabalala, who was popularly known as Zo. Shabalala contributed significantly to drive service delivery for the people of eThekwini, in particular the Umlazi region. Council will recognize her legacy accordingly. Words of gratitude go to all eThekwini citizens and the political leadership for heading a call to commemorate the Mandela Day under the theme, do what you can with what you have where you are. During the Mandela Day commemoration, the municipality accommodated various activities, some of which are still continuing until the end of this month. It is worth noting that as part of the commemoration, His Worship the Mayor handed over houses to some of the floods victims and also physically challenged individuals in Ward 3, Ward 30, and Ward 108, among other areas. The city of eThekwini congratulates the South African Women National Football Team, Banyana Banyana, as the new queens of the African continent after beating the host national team, Morocco, by 2-1 to win the African Cup of Nations competition. This achievement is in with the broader vision of the city to promote women empowerment and inclusivity. Congratulations to the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal for hosting a successful provincial elective conference with the city of eThekwini congratulating its very own His Worship the Mayor, Councillor Mxolisi Kaunda, and Councillor Nonbabalo Mthembu Zondi for being elected to serve on the KZN ANC Provincial Executive Committee. Congratulations to the Democratic Alliance, Councillor Mthethwa, for being elected the DA leader within the eThekwini Municipal Council. The ruling party has confidence in Mthethwa's capability to shape the political arena in a bid to rally behind common vision, that of providing sustainable service delivery to the people of eThekwini. The city of eThekwini condemned the shooting spree killed throughout the country, in places of entertainment, which has also touched the KZN province in Pietermaritzburg, leaving 4 people dead and 8 wounded. The city also shares the pain together with the KZN province on the recent tragic car crashes, one on the R617 Howick, taking the lives of 12 people, and others on the N1 near Little Smith, taking the lives of 6 family members of the Deputy Minister of Transport. Condolences are extended to the families, friends, and relatives following such traumatic experiences. Councillors are encouraged to conduct themselves with dignity and decency during the council proceedings and in compliance with the expectations in terms of the councillor's code of conduct. The MS team visual meeting principles are now known and are standard. Therefore, councillors are requested to adhere to the following. Councillors to ensure they connect in a decent environment with no disturbance to be caused by the surroundings. It also being noted that some of the council matters are of confidential nature at some stage. Councillors to be presentable since this is still a formal council meeting. Raise a hand to be recognized when requesting to speak on the item. Switch off the video camera to improve stability of the network. Connect in the area with a stable network, since some of the technical glitches experienced are not coming from City Hall streaming, but in the area where individual councillors are connecting. Stay connected for the duration of the meeting to maintain the quorum. Best wishes to all councillors celebrating their birthday this month. Happy birthday to all of you. Those are the announcements, councillors. We will now move to the speaker's report. Before I move to the speaker's report, I should have mentioned that I am recovering from a terrible flu. You will notice that my voice is not normal because of that problem. I hope I will be able to drive the council meeting till the end. The flu is still a problem for me, but we will push. Let's now get the speaker's report. Councillors, the purpose of this report is not just submitted because we want or we like to submit this report. We are compelled by the rules of council, section 13F of the rules of order by law 2014, that we have to outline activities undertaken by the Council over the month of July 2022. Over the month of July 22, the Office of the Speaker has been finalizing councillors' office spaces request as submitted from individual councillors. Council is reminded that at the beginning of 2021-2026 municipal term of office, the council comprises of 111 ward councillors and 111 proportional representation councillors, PRs. In terms of office allocation for ward councillors, the following is noted. The total number of 111 ward councillors, currently councillors that I can confirm that they've got offices, there are 84. There are 27 outstanding ward councillors with no office spaces. It should be noted that the reason for the 27 councillors to be without offices currently is that 10 had identified office spaces in privately owned premises where owners thereof are not compliant with supply chain requirements to enable lease contract to be finalized accordingly. Business support is, however, assisting such landlords to register and address outstanding complaints or compliance matters. From the remaining 17 councillors of the 27, 5 leases are being negotiated with the real estates. There are 8 where we are still conducting inspections in council's own buildings. Then 4 councillors, they still have to identify offices in their preferred areas. Council to further note that with PR councillors, as I've earlier indicated, there are 111. We have managed to provide 35 offices to PR councillors. Councillors that have not requested office spaces are 48. And I want to elaborate a little bit on this item. It is disappointing, councillors, that as of today, there are councillors that have not yet submitted their request for office spaces. I therefore appeal to whip of parties to encourage all councillors, particularly PR councillors in this case, to submit their requests so that we provide them with offices. Currently, there are 48 councillors that have not made such a request. Councillors that have requested but currently do not have offices, there are 28. We have your submission, but there are reasons why you have not provided those councillors with offices. These councillors have identified offices in private-owned land or buildings. The problem is non-compliance of those landlords as per the requirement from our supply chain. Some of those offices, I'm told, there is progress. This matter has been on a number of occasions discussed in the Speaker and the Whip Committee, where whips are advised all the time in our meeting of the respective party member status in terms of offices and are encouraged to advise members to submit those requests as I've indicated earlier. Holding of community engagement or community meetings remain a compliance matter, councillors. As per the provision of the Councillors' Code of Conduct, as has been previously reported in council, councillors, especially ward councillors, have not been complying in this regard. It is very disappointing to report that over the first financial year, 2021 to 2022, the previous term of this current municipal council term, only 79 community engagement were formally reported as per the below. From September to July to September 2021, there were 32 community meetings. October 2021 to December 2021, there were 0. No meeting was convened. From January to March 2022, only 27 meetings were convened. From April to June, only 11 meetings were convened. As Council is commencing with the current financial year, 2022-2023, councillors are yet again urged to ensure that they comply in terms of holding and reporting on community engagement held. Councillors requiring support to hold such meetings are reminded to timelessly indicate to the Office of the Speaker. It is being noted that the procurement, therefore, is done through supply chain management processes, and as such, these requests need to be submitted to the Speaker's office in time. I'm aware that councillors, there are councillors who have been submitting requests to convene this meeting, but they were told that funds are not yet available in my office. But working with finance and SCM, those issues are being addressed. But please, if you are planning to have any community engagement, inform our offices in time. The municipality has successfully established ward committees as per the statutory provision, and these were inaugurated in June 2022. Over the month of July 2022, city administration has been assisting ward committees to hold their meetings so as to allocate portfolios and nominate ward committee secretaries accordingly. A majority of ward committee have had their inaugural meeting, and the outstanding wards will be finalized over the upcoming weekend, the 30th to the 31st of July 2022, this coming weekend. Council to note that Municipal Council currently has one vacancy for PR councillor arising from the resignation of Isbaka Cash from the Inkatha Freedom Party. The vacancy has been declared accordingly with the IEC and will be filled once feedback is received accordingly. The Municipal Council will recall that at its meeting held on the 15th of December 2021, it established its committees to assist it to carry out its responsibilities. One of the statutory committees established is the MPEC. The MPEC committee currently comprises of 11 members on proportional representation as follows. African National Congress, they've got 5. We have Councillor Pell, Mkize, Councillor Papa Fontaine, Councillor Tusi, and Councillor Njoweni, and Councillor Sandy Ngobo. Councillor Sid Ngobo, I'm sorry. Democratic Alliance, we have Councillor Collins, Councillor Bekte, and Councillor Tipo. Economic Freedom Fighters, we have Councillor Tamsanga Puma. IFP, we have Councillor Jane Naidu. Action SA, we have Councillor Alan Besley. In February 2022, Councillor Dr. Makosi Khoza, who had been appointed by Municipal Council as the chairperson of MPEC, resigned from council, creating from the committee, creating a chairmanship vacancy in the committee. As per the statutory requirement and in promoting the principles of good governance, it is hereby recommended that the Municipal Council appoint the chairperson of the MPEC from its committee members to replace Councillor Dr. Makosi Khoza. Councillors, this report is submitted for consideration. I thank you. Bye. Okay, thank you. I'm told by my team there's a hand from Councillor Kuala. Bab Kuala.
Sibonga somlomo sibingelela. Mhlambe umuntu uyayithola ireport kaSpeaker. Kodwa kukhona into evusa uhlevana umuntu angayitholi. Angazi noma ikhona yini kuSpeaker. Ekhuluma ngeprogram kaPhep. Angazi noma mhlambe ikhona ireport ana Speaker ngayo noma mhlambe iyona engakafiki kodwa idala inkinga le ndaba nje. I just brought it to your attention, Speaker. If ever you have any report about yona, mhlambe sazi as councillors ngoba sesisebumnyameni manje. Ngiyabonga.
There is a hand from Whip of Council, Councillor Ntuli, but before I allow the Whip to speak, let me respond to the point raised by Councillor Kuala. Yes, Councillor Kuala, the issue of PEP is not part of my report, but I can confirm to you that in the Speakers and Whip Committee on Monday, councillors raised some concerns with the program. Then the Speaker was requested to interact with the chair of the committee and the relevant TCM to get more information on what is happening with PEP. And I'm expected to report back to the next Speakers and Whip committee. But today we don't have a report, but formally it was raised with us on Monday as a committee. Thank you. Whip.
Ngibonge somlomo. Ngibingelele umhlangano wamakhansela nama official. In your report, Speaker, kune part ekhuluma nge-issue kaSihlalo we-MPEC. We understand ukuthi ibaluleke kakhulu into ukuthi umasipala uhlala ucomplya nokuthi wenza ama-committee ahlale khona. Kodwa we truly respect ukuthi fanele bakwenzekile lokho. Our request ukuthi sicela ukuthi kwi-council meeting where councillors ekhona physically sifile that vacant ngoba kuzoba kuhle mangabe kuba khona i-process yokuvota siyenze as we have done before when we are filling other vacancies. Lokho bengidinga ukucela nje Speaker emhlanganweni. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you very much. I see there are other hands, but before I take any more hands, there is a proposal that in the Speaker's report, the issue of MPEC chair that I've raised be withdrawn from the Speaker's report or be deferred to the next council meeting because of the reasons advanced by the Whip of Council. Is there a seconder for that proposal? Because we are visual, we better do it in a physical meeting. I think that's what the Whip of Council is trying to persuade us. Any seconder? I'm looking for the hands with my team here in our gadget. Yes, there's a hand from Councillor Mpanza. Councillor Mpanza,
Speaker,
you are recognized.
Speaker Somlomo uyangizwa ngala.
Yezwakala.
Hayi Somlomo bekithi angisekele iproposal eqhamukayo kwi council meeting eqhamuka no whip of council cha ngithi ngiyasekela njengekhansela lomkhandlu wethu. Ngiyabonga.
Siyabonga. There's a hand from Councillor Nkosikhona Vilakazi. Councillor Vilakazi.
Thank you, Speaker. It's Councillor Kambule here, the whip of the EFF.
Or it's Kambule. Okay. Yes,
Yeah,
Councillor.
I was struggling with our device, but we'll fix it. No, we want to support the proposal from Whip of Council. We believe that this matter, it's very important that we can just browse it while we are connected to Microsoft. It needs that we are having a physical council meeting where we'll deal with it properly. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That is the second of the proposal from the Whip of Council. Let me check, is there any councillor with a contrary view? The proposal has been made and has been supported by 2 councillors. Anyone with a contrary view? Yes, Councillor Ismail.
Thank you. Thank you, Speaker, and we wish you a speedy recovery. I can see you're not looking very well.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah.
I just want to, thank you. I just want to bring up the issue, or rather discuss the point on the status of councillor offices. And we've been battling for a while as PR councillors. For example, I can't work from a dining room table all the time.
No, Councillor Ismail.
No...
Councillor Ismail, let me stop you there.
Yeah,
Let's finalize this matter first of the MPEC chair.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, let me get hands of those councillors who want to speak on this item. There's a proposal from the whip has been supported, but I'm checking now any councillor with a contrary view. Yes, there's Councillor Bosi Kumete, there's Councillor Mchetwa, the leader of the opposition. Councillor Bosi. Councillor Mchetwa.
Thank you, Chairperson, and good morning, colleagues. I've been covered on the issue of the election of MPEC chair, but may I request that your team unmute myself and Councillor Nicole Ballman, because we have not been unmuted.
Okay. Thank you very much, Councillor Mchetwa. Please, team, unmute Councillor Mchetwa. Councillors, the proposal has been seconded. It means we won't be able to deal with the election of the chair of MPEC in today's council meeting, but we'll deal with it in our next council meeting, of which that meeting have to be physical so that this item will be processed accordingly. Thank you very much, councillors. We will now move to the confirmation of the quorum.
Speaker, you forgot about my request regarding
Okay,
the office.
okay. Thanks,
Apologize.
Ishmael. I'm being reminded here by colleagues who are helping me in the front that we must deal with your issue. Let me allow you, Councillor Ishmael, to raise your point now.
Thank you very much. I'll be brief. Speaker, we've been looking for officers. We've been battling. For example, I got a phone call last week to say that there's got something in Chatsworth, but I'm in Ward 25. We can't have officers so far away. In terms of getting officers from landlords in the area, would it not be possible that we get emailed a guideline? So when we go to the landlords to ask them, you know, are you compliant? Do you have these documents? Do you have everything necessary? So we can give it to them one time instead of us going back and forth and finalize office space as and when required. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thanks, Councillor. I once indicated in one of the whips meeting that councillors who need information, they can approach my office and request that information. Again, I want to repeat that here, that those who need the information on what are the requirements for the landlord to be in compliance, they can approach my office. That information will be freely provided. Thank you very much, Councillor Ismail. Councillors, we will now have to confirm the quorum. I will then ask party whips to confirm numbers while my team is displaying on the screen so that those numbers are properly recorded. Can I get the confirmation of numbers? I'm sure whips, you are now ready. I will start from the ANC. ANC.
Speaker, from the ANC, there are exactly 79, but the others are still joining.
79 for now. Thank you. DA.
Thank you, Speaker. We are currently at 41 with some still trying to join. Thank you.
Thank you. EFF. EFF. I'm sure all party whips are
We will come
unmuted.
back to you. We are still checking our numbers.
Okay,
EFF,
thank you.
yeah.
IFP. IFP. Action SA.
Four, Speaker.
4.
Four, Speaker.
Thank you.
Thank
APC.
you. Speaker, there is myself, no Baba Umpepeto Kulum.
And corner speak.
Siyabonga, Speaker.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yes, we are one.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Deputy Mayor. ACC.
We are 2, Speaker.
ACTP.
Speaker, we are 2. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, ACC 2, yeah. Please correct that. AIC. All party whips, please raise your hand so that you will be unmuted at this side. AIC. DLC,
DLC present, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
thank you, you are one. Attack, okay, okay. There's a leave of absent for Councillor Reddy, but we'll deal with that in our next item. APF. APF. ATM.
ATM, we are present. Thank you, Speaker.
One, thank you. Achama,
Aljama present one, Speaker.
thank you. JEP,
JP 1.
thank you. KZNI, MF,
Present.
Musa.
Speaker, KZN ikhona iseMandela Room. I don't know noma banenkinga niyokhuluma.
yeah. Can I get any councillor from KZN to raise his hand so that we can unmute them this side? While we are waiting for KZN, let's continue. Musa, NFP, NFP,
Mhlonishwa sebeyilungisile councillor me iyadiphi sebeyilungisile. KZN is present, Speaker.
okay, how many?
One.
One, thank you. NFP,
Should the MF is present?
MF is present, yes, we have received your response. Thank you. NFP? NFP? PFP?
PFP present 1.
Thank you. PRM? PRM? TA?
TA is present.
Thank you. UMI? UIM?
UIM present.
APF is here.
Freedom from
AIC
is here.
Yeah.
NFP is here, Speaker.
No, we'll come back and confirm those who have not responded. We'll give you an opportunity, but we can record that NFP, they are present. Freedom Front Plus. Freedom Front.
Present, thank you, Speaker.
Are you, okay, they are present, thank you. Now let's go back to those who have not responded. Is Musa? Start with Musa. Okay. Musa, AIC?
Is present, Speaker. AIC is present, Speaker.
Thank you. NFP is present. Now it's TA. PRM?
Speaker ngikhona eish i-mic yami bivalekile la ngazi ukuthi nenza kanjani ama-technicians akho lapha sinikeza i-problem. Ikhona i-PRM we Mr Speaker ngingedwa.
Siyabonga baba umnikazi.
Thank you Mr.
Musa? Yeah. I remember that EFF requested time to confirm their numbers, but DA responded EFF. IFP? Did you get numbers from IFP? IFP did not respond.
Iyona
Ngakubona.
esebhodini Sanlam.
14, Balo, 13. 14, thank you. Yeah, is AIC that have not responded? Oh, yes, yeah, they're back on.
AIC speaker is here.
Yeah, approaches, Councillor.
Okay, Speaker.
Yeah, EFF, you are ready? EFF? Kambule, Councillor Kambule, your mic has been unmuted. You can address Council. Yeah, it looks like there's a problem. Councillor Komeni, your hand is up. I'm not sure whether it's a Lika's hand or you want to say something.
It's a new hand, Speaker. Excuse me, Speaker. It's NFP is here in the city hall
No, NFP, they've already confirmed.
and APF.
Thank you very much, Councillor Komeni.
Thank you so much.
NFP have confirmed already. We are
Please
waiting.
unmute the NFP. Please, Speaker, unmute the NFP.
Councillor Mieni. Yeah. Please, please, Councillor Mieni, raise your hand. They will unmute you. EFF. Ayush. We are trying to link with the leadership of the EFF to confirm numbers. You were very audible earlier. I'm not sure what is the problem now. Please raise your hand. Please, Secretariat, check the numbers for me. Whether do we meet quorum? Please, Babu Komen, lower your hand. Councillors, we can proceed with our meeting. We do meet quorum. Now, I will request the city manager to present the leave of absence. City manager.
Thank you, Speaker. We have received leave of absence for Inkosi E.P. Shozi from the 28th of July, indisposed. Councillor O.B. Mvubu, 28 July, indisposed. Councillor S. CBC, also indisposed. Councillor Shozi, indisposed. Councillor N. Kuboni, indisposed. Councillor F. Ismail, indisposed. Councillor V. Reddy, indisposed. Thank you. We have also received a leave from the acting city manager from today until the 31st. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mnguni. Councillors, are all these leave of absent accepted? There's a hand from Councillor. Councillor Ngongo, your hand is up.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Greetings to all councillors and management and everyone in the meeting. Honorable Speaker, I couldn't hear the name of Councillor Sikakane, although I personally submitted the leave of absence on his behalf because he is bereaved at this point in time.
For Councillor Sikakane?
Yes, Honorable Speaker.
Okay, thank you very much. We will accept the that apology. Let me get an indication that councillors are all these leave of absent accepted.
Agreed.
Thank you very much. We'll now move to the confirmation of minutes. There are two sets of minutes. It's for the meeting that was held on the 30th of June. Okay, thank you very much. Before we move to the minutes, we need to get the councillor like to declare interest. Do we have any declaration of interest, councillors? Before we move to minutes. It looks like there's none. We'll record that. We don't have any declaration of interest. We'll now move to minutes. As I've indicated earlier, that there are two sets of minutes. It's for the meeting that was on the 30th and the in-committee meeting on the very same day. Let's start with the minutes that was on Thursday, 30th of June, 2022. Councillor Kambule, your hand is up.
Thank you very much, Speaker. We're struggling with connection. You have been calling our name for EFF for quite some time, but we are sorted now. I wanted to correct that our numbers were currently 20, that we are connected. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. 20. Councillor Mieni, please lower your hand. Your mic has been unmuted. Okay. Let's start with the minutes that was on the 30th, June 22. Can I get the mover of the minutes? Let me get the mover.
I move, Chair. ANC moves.
Thank you. Seconder?
NFP, second.
Thank you. That was the first set of meeting minutes. The second set, the in-committee, on the same day, 30th June 2022. Let me get a mover. Councillor Kuala, then Madlal.
Exigency, Chair.
Okay, let me start with you, Councillor Madlala.
Can we park the in-committee minutes for the in-committee part of the meeting, Chair?
Okay, thank you. Thank Bob Madlala, because it was an in-committee. It have to be moved and seconded in the in-committee meeting. Thank you, Sozab. Councillor Kuala, your hand is still up.
Angibonge Somlomo. Bengifisa mhlawumbe Somlomo kwesibukisana la as a council. Ngoba ngicabanga ukuthi we need a transparency when we are in such meetings. As my colleagues are moving with the minutes, I just want to check and take you through the pages, Somlomo, with the council. every page, I page from the minutes. We have the ANC, that is always at one number. If I may take you from page 555. What I've seen there, carrying on from page 562, 564, 566, page 576, page 577, page 578.
Babu Kwala. I'm allowing you, but I know that you are aware that what we are doing is out of order, and there's a possibility for your colleagues, councillors, to raise a point of order. But to avoid that, I think it is better for me as the chair of this meeting to note your concerns, but it would have been better if they were raised before meeting minutes were moved and adopted. Now, you were late to raise your issues. I'm not denying you an opportunity to speak, but the rules does not allow us that an item that has been moved, seconded, particularly minutes, that is being reopened for discussion. It does not mean that the matter you are raising is not valid, but it's a procedure. Approaches Babukwala for that.
Mhlawumbe Sihlalo, on that point, why we are ignored when we are raising our hands in this visual? Why we have visuals where you will not be able to point us or to check us when we are raising hands? Because I've raised my hand, before you even take this first speaker who was supporting the minutes. But I waited because you pointed them to second them. But now I'm closed down because you never saw my hand and you are telling me I'm late. Why we are keep on visuals when we understand this, we have a problem with these visuals. Not on our side, but on your side, because it's you who can't recognize me. You recognize me after you've done the job. I think, Speaker, you are unfair to us. If
Yes,
you are
thank-
telling me I'm late, whereas I indicated earlier, if it was a meeting that was in like City Hall or ICC, I'll raise my placard. There won't be such way will tell me I raise it later, because the audience will see me that I've done it clearly with the terms, and we respect you, but you tend to close us down because we can't see you physically. Because it's unfair. I'm talking about serious facts, as we are saying. There can't be no movement in a meeting where the ANC will be always 90, each and every item, where in the physical meeting, the councillors at all are moving. Some are going out, some are going in. But now we present that the minutes, we must forward them as they are appealing in this agenda as true reflection. This is unfair, Speaker.
Yeah,
But if I have another communication that maybe I have to follow up, I'll do that, but never close a councillor down because you are using or exercising your powers.
Yeah, thank you
And
very
this
much.
visual thing, I'm not understanding why you keep on visual meetings. Because it has shown you, some councillors are not connecting because of this visual. You understand the network in eThekwini. We had a disaster that collapsed the whole networks, but we're still on this visual. I'm not happy with that, Speaker.
Yeah, Babukwala,
When I'm trying to correct you,
Babukwala,
then you tell me I'm
Babukwala,
out of order.
Councillor
You
Kwala,
are not
I've
fair,
given
Speaker.
you sufficient time to address council. I I understand your concerns and they are genuine, but I have to apologize to you if you raise your hand, then you were not recognized. We have no intention to suppress any councillor to speak here. We are known for that, and then we have no reason why you'll be suppressed. Again, approaches, if you raise a hand, then you were not recognized. But I would want to humbly appeal to you that you allow us to proceed with the meeting. But as a speaker, I note your concerns, I note all the issues we are raising. But for us to be procedural, we can't entertain the issue you are raising now after minutes have been moved and adopted. But it doesn't mean that matters we are bringing to my attention are not serious or I ignore them. They are serious, but we might have to deal with them at another platform or in another meeting. But I can't allow you now to present this matter and open for discussion because of the procedure. I'm sure, Councillor Kuala, you'll understand and bear with me and accept my apology. Thank you. Let's proceed, councillors. We are now moving to the council agenda on page 4 or page 5. These are questions in terms of section 27 of the rules of order. There's a question from page 5 that ends at page 6. Can I get the responses? Councillor Sissoka, I'm told you are going to provide answers on this item.
Good morning, Speaker, and thank you for the opportunity. Indeed, I will be providing responses to the raised question. Question number 1, the answer to number 1 is that the latest count of informal settlement is 595 settlement. And the answer to question 2, which is a follow-up to question 1, is that when you are itemizing them, there is 595 in terms of numbering them. But for example, in Ward 1, you'll have that there are 8 settlements. So we don't have the total figure, the grand total. However, there is 597 items. And then question number 3, does the municipality have a formalized census of residents? And the response is yes. Land monitors conduct an exercise known as ring fencing, during which they allocate house numbers to each informal settlement and compile a list of residents in each informal settlement. This database of residents is updated periodically according to observed expansion, densification, or a new settlement. Question number 4, does the city provide electricity to informal settlement? And the answer is yes. The city does provide electricity to those informal settlements that meet the criteria for electrification. And then there's a follow-up question. If so, how many settlements get electricity? And the answer is the city provides electricity to approximately 300 settlements, some partially and others fully electrified. Information is that we are providing is based on informal settlement database. And then another follow-up question is, how much of this is revenued? And the answer is all informal settlements are connected via prepaid electricity meter, which operates on a payment before use principle. Question number 5, how many of the settlements receive refuse removal services? And the answer is all settlement receive waste collection services, and it's either weekly or bi-weekly schedule. Question number 6, how many of these settlements have ablution toilets provided by the city, and how many of them are functional? And the answer is that according to the database provided, there is 1,368 communal ablution blocks, and they service approximately 100,000 of households. Question number 7, how many informal settlements receive water meter, water through standpipe, and what is overall consumption? And there is a breakdown that was taken using a snapshot on the 30th of June 2022. And the numbers are as follows. Ablution blocks, there is 1,139, community standpipes 439, water dispenser 1601, which gives you a total of 3,233. And then a follow-up question is that how many then pay for the water? And then the stats that is available, it covers January, February, March 2022, and the grand total is 735,582. Last question, are informal settlements represented at any level of municipality? And if so, what is their structure? And the answer is that, yes, they are represented as in some wards. They are members of ward committees, and over and above that, they have their formalized structures and leaders that communicate on daily basis and with the city via ward councillors and PR councillors. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor Soga. Our second question is on page 7. On billing system. Councillor Soga.
Speaker?
Yes.
I think the person that is going to be answering the question is Councillor Sishange.
Or is not you?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Can I
Thank
get
you,
a
sir.
response from members of the committee on question page number 7? Councillor Sishenge?
Shalom.
Yes.
Siyabonga Speaker, ngicela nisivulele i-mic kaKhansela uMngonyama.
Okay, thank you. Can you please, Babu Ngonyama, raise your hand so that the team will see you and unmute your mic? Councillor Shange, Ngonyama have not raised his hand.
Okay, ngicela umnikezele. Umnikezele. Hamba la.
Coming.
Councillors, let's not disrupt the council meeting. Please, let's be orderly. I don't understand why Councillor Ngonyama can raise his hand so that we unmute him in his gadget so that he address
Thank you.
council.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Can you hear me now?
Yes, you are audible. You can speak. Thank you.
Yes, I really apologize, Honorable Speaker. I had some challenges here. On this item, Honorable Speaker, there was a change made on how the meter rating module integrates to the billing revenue management system, which caused locks on the database and resulted in delays for the batch of jobs to run. This change was effected to upgrade, resolve the use of outdated and unsupported software. Honorable Speaker, the problem was resolved on Friday, 17 June 2022, except for the upload feature for the supporting documents to support reading that and with range. Honorable Speaker, there was a delay when the document is uploading to the management system, which caused the app to time out. The development team is currently working on it, Honorable Speaker. So, kulena-ke Speaker sithi kubantu baseThekwini once seyirana kahle izokwazi ukuthi isikhiphele amabhill nje accurate, because siyazi ukuthi kune outcry yokuthi siya estimate kakhulu. So once yalunga le abantu baseThekwini bazokwazi ukuthola amabhill accurate. Ngiyabonga Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor Mngonyama. Our next question is page 8. A response from a question, page 8. Councillor Ndlovu, your hand is up. You can speak.
Siyabonga Somlomo. Sibingelele. Somlomo, izimpendulo zale mbuzo okuyikhasi lesishiyagalombili azitholakalanga. Sike sidlulisa isicelo sokuthi kumhlangano olandelayo zikwazi ukuthi izimpendulo zilethwe ngaphambili. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you very much, Councillor Ndlovu, for your explanation, but I'm sure you are quite aware that what you are submitting to council is not acceptable, because it means two things. Number one, members of the committee don't respect the council meeting. Number two, you don't take your job serious, because these questions are submitted from these councillors in time, which give members of the committee and the relevant unit sufficient time to prepare those answers. But if we don't have answers today, that is very wrong, Councillor Ndlovu. I want to place it on record so that the chair of the committee and the members of the committee are aware that as council, we want to register our dissatisfaction. And moving forward, we are going to have a problem to tolerate this behavior. As I've indicated, is a sign of disrespect to council, because these answers are not provided to individual councillors. We have raised those questions, but these answers are being given to the citizens of the eThekwini who are watching this meeting. But I understand your point. I might not know what are the reasons, but let's try that in future we don't find ourselves in this situation. Thank you very much, Councillor Ndlovu, for the explanation that there are no responses for these questions. But in the next meeting, you will try by all means that those questions or those answers are provided. Thank you very much, Councillor Ndlovu. Councillor Sokabase, your hand is up.
Thanks very much, Honorable Speaker. We take your point. Even in our committee as a leadership, we are so disappointed that we didn't give what we are expected to do. Sicela ukuxolisa kakhulu kumphakathi nakumakhansela, but abazamile ukusinikeza kwasho ukuthi awasigculisi thina. If sizowaletha-ke kumphakathi nasemakhanseleni kusho ukuthi sizobe singawenzi umsebenzi ngendlela. Ingakho sicela sinxusa ukuthi basizwele ozakwethu. We will bring it into mhlawumbe nabo abazokwazi ukuthi iba-satisfy. Thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Councillor Sokabase, for further clarification or explanation on the reason why answers are not ready today. I do agree with you that if you receive responses from relevant units that are not satisfactory as a leadership, it's difficult for you to bring them at this platform. I do accept your explanation. Thank you very much, Councillor Sokabase, for that additional information. Let's move to page 9. Page 9.
Speaker.
Yes.
Speaker, Councillor Mteto. Councillor Graham has her hand up.
Yes, Councillor Graham, Ntetwa, and Paruk, in that order. Can you please unmute them? Councillor Graham?
Thank you, Speaker, and good morning to everybody. Speaker, I just wanted to make the point again about questions, because we've had this conversation before, that it is up to your office as the Speaker of Council and up to the office of the City Manager to ensure that questions are answered. I don't think it's good enough to wait for a councillor to come to Council and say, we don't have answers for whatever reason, and then for you, who is the custodian of the process in terms of the rules, to say, that's not good enough, please make sure that you address it. The rules envisage that the questions are submitted to your office and that your office gets answers through the City Manager's office. And those answers are read out in Council by a member of the government of the day. But it's not up to an individual councillor from the ruling party to say, we have an answer or we don't have an answer. And this has been going on for far too long. There needs to now be surety from your office and the City Manager. I know the acting City Manager is on leave, but the City Manager and yourself need to take control of this process. It's not up to the person answering the question to make sure that an answer is provided. And that really is the spirit and the letter of the rules that are before us. And I think personally that we need to be more responsible for this process as well as the City Manager.
Thank you, Councillor Graham. Councillor Mtetra.
I am covered, Chairperson. Thank you.
Councillor Paruk. Yeah, thank you very much. It seems as if, yes, there is Councillor Madlara.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I think I stand by your summary. And I think while the concerns that you raised and the concerns that were raised by the Chairperson of Community Services, Councillor Samaso Kabas, and the concerns that were raised by the opposition are all valid. But the rules themselves envisage that there could be a situation where questions are submitted and there are situations, compelling reasons why answers could not be provided to a meeting. That is why you have, in that Rule of Order 27, you have Rule of Order 27:18, which allows for questions to stand over to the next meeting so that responses and answers that are provided are satisfactory to first the questions that are being asked, because what I think Councillor Sokhabase is telling us is that this is not a tick box exercise wherein if there were questions that were asked, you can just bring any kind of noise and call it an answer, because then the councillor that asked cannot then come back, and all of that is restricted by the rules. So this standing over of this request to stand over these questions are actually respecting the integrity of this process so that it does not become a tick box exercise. So we are appealing and pleading with the fellow councillors to accept the bona fides of Councillor Sokhabase and allow for this meeting to get these answers next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Madlala. Let's proceed, councillors. Let me get the answer for question in page 9.
Speaker, ngicela ni unmute uKhansela uMthembu Zondi. Yena uzophendula.
Councillor Nobawalo, please raise your hand so that the team will unmute you. Yes, Councillor Tembo, you are now unmuted. You can speak.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, question number 1 ubuza ukuthi ngabe umkhandlu wayenza yini ilist yama victims disaster from August 2022. Yes, the list of the flood victim was compiled. Then the question number 2, how many of the disaster victims are still housed in municipal halls? Currently, the city has 82 care centers and 6,515 flood victims accommodated at care centers. There is a fluctuation of numbers given the people sometimes leave their former places of abode and then return. Always Tatu, are they still being provided with meals and essentials? Yes. The answer is yes. The provision of the services are like water, mobile ablution facilities, electricity, gas and stoves, cleaning, donation, clothing and milk, nappies, hygiene, utensils, and hygiene pack from donations, safety and security to the problematic care centers are still provided. Noguti, it should be indicated that some of these services are currently inadequate as the donations has dropped. Okusho ukuthi zonke lezi zinto esizishoyo ukuthi bezenzeka zonke, okunye kwako akusenzeki somlomo ngenxa yokuthi abantu abanye kade bedonate abasakwazi ukuqhubeka badonate, but lokhu okumqoka like amanzi nakunye kusaqhubeka kwenzeka, but yona ikhona inkinga ngenxa yokuhamba kwesikhathi. Then number 4, is it true that the victims are being forcefully removed? That is not true. The answer there. Number 5, were there any of the displaced families relocated and provided alternatives? Kuthiwa-ke yes, akhona, and they are relocated to the houses. But onke bakhona asebe zanyiwe, though inamba ingane yabo kunenamba ekhona esakuma displaced. Then the other accommodation. Oh, I'm sorry. I question angiqedanga. Beyithi, were there any of the displaced families relocated and provided alternatives accommodation? If yes, how many? And where are they situated for human settlement? Impendulo yokuqala ithe yes, eyesibili yathi relocated to the houses, then eyesithathu ithi 4 families have been taken out of the halls and allocated in newly constructed houses. Then elandelayo temporary residential units, 62 TRU built to date. Number 3, building materials. As per Human Settlement Department, 312 individuals supplied with a material to date. Then number 6, what processes and criteria were used in the selection for relocation? Impendulo yakhona ithi the Department of Human Settlement has ensured that the victims at care centers are categorized and prioritized as per their level of vulnerability for the decommissioning in relation to the temporary residential unit, which means it's TRU, and provision of building materials and BNGs. The Human Settlement Department is conducting a process of assessing suitability of identifying land parcels for relocation in conjunction with the provincial and national Department of Human Settlement. Then number 7, what is the city plan regarding the disaster victims? The short-term strategy is to decant the care centers by identifying appropriate land for the relocation, providing buildings material to the affected people, or building temporary residential units, ARUs, permanent low-cost houses, and ensure that the relevant policy for such decanting is adhered to. This includes that people are relocated to safe places. Okay, then the number 8, how many abandoned and unoccupied buildings are there in the city? For comment by the head of real estate, Utsapelo Musinyani. So I found a number lana. It's refer to Utsapelo Musinyani, which means the question will go to the relevant committee by pendule to the next meeting, Chairperson. I thank you.
I thank Councillor Chembu for the responses on question on page 9. Please, councillors, mute your mics, please. Let's move now to page 10.
It's up, Honorable Speaker.
Come again?
My hand is up. Can you recognize me? I've raised my hand.
Yes, Councillor, of course, you are recognized, you can speak.
No, thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, again, the issue of insufficient information in responding to questions. It's a concern. If number 8 has not been answered because another line department have not answered that question, it's a concern to us because we felt that these questions are submitted in time. So any department that need to answer need to be contacted, so then there will be a response. But we also wanted to say, Mr. Speaker, on the question of number 4, we would like to see a team of officials checking whether it's true that people have not been forced removed in these areas, because people cannot just lie. They are telling us the truth wherever we are. Some have been forcefully removed. But one last request that if we can get the answers in writing, as IFP will
Speaker.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Speaker.
There's,
Call the speaker. Another speaker.
yes.
No, I'm just checking, Speaker. Are we allowed now to discuss the questions? Because Honorable Dunkosi now is discussing the questions now. Now, I'm just checking that, Speaker. And another one, Speaker, the problem of these questions and mixed up with committee a lot, or the person who was asking these questions who mix ama question aga security and emergencies namanye ama clusters, hence uthola ukuthi awekho ama answers from us. Thank you, Speaker.
Okay,
On a
thank you,
point of
Councillor
order, Mr. Speaker.
Tembo Zondi.
On a point of order.
I think,
On a point of order.
Councillor Nkosi.
I think the councillor does not understand what I was saying. The questions have been submitted. If there are follow-up questions, we are allowed, councillor, to do that. And I'm requesting that if we can get these answers in writing, we are not discussing questions. We are saying we are not happy about the way questions are being answered. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Babunkosi. That how I understood your point, particularly making reference to the question where Councillor Zondi said they don't have an answer. They were referred to the head of real estates. Then it means question number 8 on page number 9, the answer will be provided to the next council meeting. Is same thing that was raised on page number 8, of which I've already raised my concern on questions that councillors are not ready to provide answers on council meeting. I don't want to repeat councillors who are in the committee, same thing that I've said earlier, that now it's happening for the second time where councillors are not ready to provide answers. Sometimes department, they have not responded in time, or sometimes councillors are not happy with the quality of answers provided by the department. But it's not the issue of council to entertain that. It's an issue between the relevant head of the unit and the chair of the cluster and councillors serving in the committee. Those explanations, we don't need them here in council. In council, we only need answers. No excuses, no justification or failure to respond. But I understand your concern, Councillor Nkosi, and as a speaker of council, I share the very same concerns as I've earlier indicated. I will appeal again on the very same point, page 9, that let's take this issue very serious. It looked like there is a problem that maybe we need to sit down, myself and the city manager, maybe and the relevant chairs of committee to discuss this matter so that we improve in a manner we handle these questions. Because the reason we are getting here is not that there are no answers, but answers are not to the satisfaction of the committee members. It means while responses are being prepared, there's no interaction between the head of units and relevant committee members, because they have to agree on the content of the response before they put to council. Now, I think we need to improve on that. There is a weakness that I'm observing. I think my office and the city manager, so that with relevant DCMs and chairs, we improve on that. It is true, it is embarrassing if committees are failing to provide answers on council meeting. In that note, councillors, thank you very much. Let's proceed. This matter will be addressed urgently by my office and the office of the city manager. Thank you very much, Councillor Kosi. Thank you very much, Councillor Mthembu Zondi, for providing those answers. Let's move to point 12. Page 12. Councillor Sloga.
Mr. Speaker, sir. Can I come in, Mr.
Yes,
Speaker,
yes.
sir? Thank you so much for the opportunity. The first question, Speaker, does the city have a count of the number of streetlights that are out of order? And the response is, our system indicates the backlog of 30,824 job cards. This, however, includes duplicates, because you might find that from the very same streets, 3 or 4 consumers are logging in a complaint, so they are duplicates. And question 2, how long has the street lights not been working? And the response is that our response time is 14 days, given that we have all the required material, such as trucks, material, and personnel. And the other reason is that it might take longer due to COVID. And Speaker, let me just explain here, because someone might ask, why are we continuing to cite COVID as some of our challenges? Is the reason being is that we all know that the country was on lockdown for a very long time, and some of the material that we utilize to fix street poles we source from the other countries. As such, there has been a delay, which is why we are still citing COVID as some of our challenges. And question 3, how many complaints or faults logged by residents has the municipality received regarding streetlights outreaches, say from January 2021 to 30 June 2022? This question, Speaker, is similar to question 1, and as such, the response is the same, because when we receive complaints, we then generate a job card. So the response would be 30,824 job cards. And question number 4, how many of these complaints were attended and restored? And the answer to that is that we are given a percentage of 68%. And again, the fact that we have not been able to attend to all complaints is that of the reasons that were given for question number 2, which is material, trucks, personnel, and COVID. And question 5, has there been repeat complaints after the fault was attended to? And the question is yes, and this is due to a lot of infrastructure theft and vandalism. Question number 6, which are the hardest hit wards in relation to outrages? And the question, if without me getting into naming the wards, let me just say the entire city is affected. And indeed, it might vary from one ward to the next. However, this is an overall problem that is faced by the entire city. Question 7, what is the delay in restoring the street lights back to working condition? And how long will it take to fully restore? restore it in residential streets and on the highways. The response is we have, as indicated, we have a limited human resources and resources in general, hence the delay. We have about 100 technical staff to maintain street lights for the whole city and limited buckets, trucks, and material. However, there is some good news in that we have now additional of 30 teams of contractors, and it will take between 6 to 2 months, given that we have all the required material. So there is a light at the end of a tunnel with regards to that one. And question number 8, what has the municipality attributed these outrages to? And the response is that we are currently using an old organogram. Again, lack of resources. Streetlights contracts was terminated in 2019, and again, the ever so infamous COVID-19. And question number 10, has the city opened any cases relating to theft and destruction related to its property with SAPS? If yes, how many cases have been opened and how many achieved success thus far? If not, why not? Why? Unfortunately, there are no cases that have been opened. However, the city is looking at ways and means and strategies on how best we can approach this challenge, working together with SAPS. So in the future, we shall be reporting with regards to the stats of cases that would have been opened, because as the city would want to have a situation where when we open cases, there are convictions and we are getting results from that. So that one is continuous. Number 11, what are the financial implications in terms of losses, repair, and restoration? For now, the city is currently in the process of quantifying this. However, for the work and the calculations that have been done thus far, we are looking at billions. However, the exact number and quantities shall be provided in writing for the next council. Number 12, is there a solution to ensure that this problem of theft and damage municipal property is remedied to a point of sustainability? And the answer is yes. We are currently working with the deputy head of technical, where they are assisting us with welders to try and curb or minimize the challenge of vandalism. However, the committee is currently looking at ways and means to enhance the work so that we get better results. Number 13, has the SA municipality consulted with SAPS in terms of Second-Hand Goods Act to identify unauthorized scrap metal dealers and shut them down through enforcing this act? And the answer is yes. Is the municipality going to encourage community participation through community policing forum as a reporting structure? And the answer is yes. Councillors have been formally requested to encourage their respective community to safeguard the infrastructure. So it's an ongoing activity, and we trust that we shall be seeing positive results from this joint effort. Number 15, what course of action is the municipality going to take to remedy this problem, say within the next month? And the answer is, we need law enforcement to curb infrastructure theft and vandalism around the city. Secondly, to provide budgets of about 200 million streetlights contracts for a period of 24 to 36 months. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, thank you very much, Councillor Soga, for those responses. On page page 10, yes? Yeah, we're covering page 10 and 11. We'll now go to question on page 12 and 13 from Councillor Ismail. We get the answer? I think it is you, Sissoka again, and your committee members who will provide answers on this.
Thank you again, Speaker. And responses to questions that were raised by Councillor Ismail. Question number 1, what is the count of repairs carried out in the entire eThekwini municipality jurisdiction in the last financial year? And the report is that the readily available reports reflect that repairs done in the months of April, May, and June of 2022 in the entire metropolitan area, and the count is 14,861, but the latest figure as per annum is 70,509. Question number 2, what is the count of repairs done in Ward 25, 27, and 31, again in the last financial year? And the response to that is the current work management system register falls in terms of 5 operational regions, which are divided in zonal areas within the region. In this case, wards 25, 27, and 31 fall within central region, and the recorded count for this specific zone is 955, which then will include 25, 27, and 31. Question number 3, how many repairs were done in each of these respective wards in the last month alone? And the response is, at the time of reporting, system abstracted data was reflective of annual reports. For this reason, the total number of repairs in the zone has been estimated to average 80%. Question number 4, what is the total estimated monetary cost of such repairs? And the response is, what can be noted is that the council pays contract plumbers in the most senior category a fortnightly provisional sum of 60,000 rands for labor, tools, and tools of trade, and to undertake repair work on water infrastructure, listing to a daily rate of 4,285 rands and 71 cents per contract plumber. And in total, when we're looking at the financial year 2021 and 2022, the grand total spend is 3.2 million. And question 5, are these repairs outsourced to contractors or insourced? And the response is repairs are done by both outsourced contractors and permanent employees, our internal staff. Question number 6, relevant departments should react speedily to complete the entire job within, say, a 48-hour turnaround. Plumbers cannot tar roads. Additional repairs must be referred. It appears that we have fallen into a half-job syndrome. What exactly are the contributing factors to delays to fully restore faults collectively and timelessly? And the response is the work breakdown structure is such that support units must be involved for collective and timeless restoration of faults. The Organization Development and Change Management Department is currently conducting a study as to what could be area of improvement in reducing the repair turnaround time. Question number 7, what plans, apart from early warning detection system, does the city have to address the ailing water infrastructure? And the response is, as part of its asset management policy, the city implements asset maintenance plans for key infrastructure such as control valves, pipelines, and pump stations. Question number 8, is there enough resources and manpower to immediately action repairs speedily? And the response, the city gives priority to resources and manpower requirement for effective, efficient management of repair work. The unity head for water and sanitation continues to do so by reviewing operations protocols through centralization and decentralization of resources where necessary. Question number 9, are there enough TLBs readily available to get on site? And the response is no, we don't have enough TLBs. Question number 10. On average, how long should it take for a TLB to get to a site? And the answer is about 2 hours turnaround time, depending on the distance to be traveled. Question number 11. How many jetting machines does the municipality have to clear block sewer lines? And the answer is there are 8 jetting machines available for the city. Question number 12. Drains are blocked by either litter or some use manhole as storage or others discussing item into stormwater. Is there an exercise where all these are inspected and cleared regularly? And the response is Roads and Stormwater Maintenance Department has 10 road inspectors and 15 clerk of works across the city. Their duty is to go around and do necessary inspections, and the findings of such are used by schedulers through the works management system to schedule for the work for the superintendent to attend to those identified problems. This function is usually augmented with external hired resources. This is done, however, only when the budget allows. And the last question, is there a ward-based management program where contractors live in their specific area, get to work, or such contractors come from outside? And the response is that the Office of Deputy City Manager Trading Services Cluster is reviewing the ward-based management program within the existing area-based management approach, and the updates shall be provided. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Swaga, for your responses. We'll now move to page 14. The questions from page 14. Can I get the answers?
Ngiyabonga, Honorable Speaker. Silandela ukubuzwa kwemibuzo. Question number 1. Ama responses alandela kanjena. eThekwini municipality has 499 cameras installed in the eThekwini region. Question number 2, operational cameras. Ahlukanise ngokwama region. Then Central Beachfront 144, South 22, West 15, North 20. Then the total yawo esewonke 201. Question number 3. Angasebenzi Central Beachfront 66, South 89, West 14, and North 43. Bese phelele wonke 212. Bese beqhubeka ke bethi most yama cameras angasebenzi iningi nawo abe affected during ama floods. Abe khona tingasebenzi kodwa amaningi ngawo akhozwe ukulimala ngesikhathi sama floods. Question number 4. Answer yakhona. Masasebenza emergency CCV contract is within SCM processes. So when it's finalized and the budget yakhona isikhona yazobe siyalungiswa. Question number 5. Number plate recognition technology will be taken care of under the new contract. Siyabonga kakhulu.
Thank you, Councillor Shange, with your responses. Page 15. Answers. Page 15.
Speaker.
Yes, there's a hand.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Speaker. No, we thank Councillor for providing the answers, but if we also can get these ones, in fact, in writing, we'll appreciate. Thank you.
Oh, I thought you are providing answers for page 15. But
No.
thanks
The ones
for-
that were
thanks for
answered
point.
by Councillor Seshab.
Noted, the Speaker, sizozama ukwadlulisela. Speaker, ngicela ungivulela imic kaKhansela uMzimela uzokwenza number page 15.
Yeah, Councilor Mzimela, please raise your hand so that you'll be unmuted, please. Yes, Council.
Yes, Speaker, no?
Yes, you can speak.
Okay, thanks, Speaker. Question number 15. On page 15, question number 1, how many homeless people in the city? The homeless study commissioned by Safer City Unit and undertaken by a Human Science Research Council in 2016 revealed that there were 4,000 homeless people in the inner city, and half of those were sleeping on the street while the other half were in the shelters. The survey recently conducted in June 2022 by Strategy Office, Research, Advocacy and Policy, which focused in the entire city profiled 2,100 homeless people who were willing to be interviewed. Most of them refused to estimate the reveal that were about 16,000 homeless people in the city as per head count in the study areas. The areas are Inner City, Pinetown, Hillcrest, Verulam, Phoenix, Ubest, Wamash, Shaswet, Miyawent, Spingo, Tongat, Namanzimdot. The daily head count were as follows, because the counting we're doing in different days. Day 1, 558, day 2, 680, day 3, 1,575, day 4, 235, day 5, 362, day 6, 486, day 7, 4,393, day 8, 3,897, day 9, 3,945. Question number 2. Have homeless been profiled? The answer is yes. They have been profiled through survey in June 2022, and the team is still analyzing the result of the survey. And this will indicate where they come from, why they are in the city, what service they have received, what services are still required. This information is needed to be compared with the statistics survey, which is also conducted the census in March 2022. Question number 3. In the last 3 years, how many numbers are projected? As indicated in my first paragraph here in 2016, that about 4,000 homeless people were counted, surveyed, and some in shelters and some on the street. Most agreed to be interviewed because they were incentivized with food and vouchers. The current survey did not have incentive, and as a result, few agreed to be interviewed. In the entire city, only 2,100 were interviewed, but the head count is 16,000. It should be noted that the survey was conducted during the day and some of the homeless could not be found as they are hustling during the day. Question number 4. What effort has been made to reintegrate the homeless with the families? The city engaged the intern social workers in 2018 April, whose 2-year internship contract expired in April 2020. In May 2020, another cohort of intern social workers were engaged, whose contract expired in May 2022. During the tenure of the social work intern before COVID-19 and during COVID-19, more than 400 homeless have been reunited with their families. The reunification was successfully undertaken during the COVID-19 lockdown, where more than 1,800 homeless were accommodated in 12 temporary shelters across the city, which made it easier for social workers to have ongoing interventions such as psychological support, reunification programs, skill development programs, rehabilitation programs, and ID applications. Question number 5, how many people have been provided with accommodation? Currently, there are 3 municipal funded temporary shelters within the inner city, which accommodate 501 homeless people. Question number 6, how many are without accommodation? The estimated number of homeless people in the entire city, as I said before, it's plus minus 16,000. This is based on the head count undertaken of those who refused to be interviewed during 9 days of survey in June 2022. The city has accommodated 561 municipality-funded shelters, as I mentioned above. And also there is an unknown percentage in accommodated in private-owned shelters. A higher number is currently on the street, bed building, or building that has been abandoned. Question number 7, what stakeholder network does the municipality have to aid and assist in fight against homeless? The question says list them. In 2018, the city established a homeless task team which was led by the deputy mayor and had a representative from the NGO sector, Dennis Hall Center, ICARE, We Are Durban, KZN Welding School, DUT, Arabaka Bank, Government Department, Department of Social Development, Human Settlement, Safer Cities, Urban Renewal. This task team is currently non-functional. However, the NGO within the sector are still providing services in line with the respective mandates. Question number, sorry, Speaker. Then the answer continue in 7.2 in my question. In 2019, a council resolution to establish a special purpose vehicle to support the homeless intervention and related social ills was adopted by the council. There were programs that has been allocated in the SPV in line with the Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, to assist the city in dealing with the homeless. Such intervention include sourcing funding for implementation of projects and programs linked to homeless and related social development programs in the TB, facilitating partnership with the critical stakeholders from government, private sector, and non-profit organizations, but also supporting the work of the existing NGO to deliver programs and project linked to homeless and related social challenges. Accepting and managing resources as custodian of provision of services to homeless. Enabling the activation of homeless reduction strategy. The other question here was talking about how much funding is budgeted for this. The city has allocated 500,000 rand in June 2022 as a seed funding to SPV comment with the intervention as per MOU, Memorandum of Understanding. Question number 8. How much funding is budgeted for? I've answered that question. I've mixed it with question number 7, but it's question number 8. Question number 8, how much funding is budgeted for this? None. Thank you. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor Mzimela. We were answering page 15. We now move to page 16. Councillor Nkos.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker. If your office can also send these answers to us, we would appreciate.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Your request is recorded, Bamkosi. Page 16. At the end of answering all the questions, I will explain that in future how I'm going to handle questions in council, because I can see it looks like it's taking much of council time, although they're important, but we need a better way to manage these questions. But the rules does give us guidance on that. Let me get a response.
Thank you, Speaker. It's Councillor Sissoka again.
Yes.
Responding to questions on page 16. For question 1, how many pump stations have been vandalized? And the answer is 40 pump stations have been vandalized, and the big number comes from the northern area of those that are vandalized. How many pumps have been stolen? The response is 6 pumps have been stolen from 40 pump stations that are vandalized. What is the total loss or damages suffered by eThekwini municipality in rents with regards to the above? And the estimated is that it is 5 million that it has been as a result of pump station vandalized and pumps stolen. Question 4, what is the city's turnaround plan to deal with the sewer spills and aging infrastructure? And there are 7 questions under question 4, answers under question 4. 1, the city must invest on additional equipment, for example, blockage trucks and jetting machines. Employ additional staff to cope with the increased infrastructure coverage. 3, increase the number of depots from the current 4 to include satellite depots, allowing quick turnaround time in respect of attending to sewer spillages. Another thing that needs to be done is to increase operational budget to accommodate proactive maintenance to prevent equipment run to failure by implementing preventative maintenance intervention. And another intervention would be to increase operational budget by 80 million a year. Another one is to vehicle shortages resulting in staff idling without vehicles to respond to sewer complaints. The city must urgently solve the issue of vehicles to improve productivity. Lastly, for question 4, unlicensed vehicles, longer turnaround times for a vehicle repairs must be resolved. Apology, Speaker, there's a noise coming from outside. I think there are people marching, but I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, yes, Councillor Soga, we're all being disrupted, but we can hear you. Proceed.
Thank you, sir. Lord. Question 5, how many roading crews are needed per district and how many does each one actually have? The question is blockages and roading crews under normal operating conditions. 48 blockage crews are required, 12 per region, but currently operating at between 50 to 60% available resources. And 5.2, how many jetting crews are needed per district and how many does each one actually have? Under normal operating condition, 12 jetting machines are required, 3 per regions, but currently operating at about 40% resources available. And to 5.3, answer to 5.3 is the same as 5.1 and 5.2 responses. Then we'll move on to question 5.4. How many vehicles remain unlicensed? For September, there were, for August, last year 85, September 133, October 142, November 116, December 206, which gives us a total of 682 vehicles that are currently unlicensed. And then 5.5, how many vehicles are currently at the workshop? The total is 122. 5.6. Why is there an unreasonable delay from signing off orders by finance? And the answer is that orders are generally approved within 2 days after being received on email by finance, assuming there are no queries on them. 5.7, how many orders remain unsigned in excess of 1 week, 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days? And the answer is all orders sent to finance are approved within 2 days if all is in order. And this is similar response to 5.6. Question number 6. What are the budget allocations and timelines for attending to following major faults? Indicates in your response for how long these sites have been in operational or experiencing repeat blockages. And then for 6.1, for 6, the budget of sanitation repairs was 222 million in the financial year of 2021 and 2022, and 201.6 million for 2022 to 2023 financial year. And for 6.1, they're asking Riverview Industrial Area, Verulam, and the answer is teams have been dispatched to attend to blockages and further investigate the cause of recurring blockages. 6.2, they're asking about Scott Place, and the response is teams have been dispatched to attend to blockages and further investigation to see what is causing these recurring blockages. With regard to St. Augustine Crescent and Dickinson Road, the response is similar to 6.1, 6.2. And 6.4, Umbilo. First, the budget has been prioritized to deal with the current status of Umbilo treatment works, which was severely affected by floods. Procurement process are underway to appoint the consultant for the detailed assessment. And second to that, the proactive intervention in place to deal with recurring sewer blockages and unblocking of manhole by the wastewater network in the west. With regards to Ilamesi and Lagoon Drive, new soft starters have been installed and they are being commissioned. With regards to South Beach Road, a dry well was flooded. Wastewater network is in the process of implementing cleanup process, followed by the assessment of mechanical and electrical equipment. With regards to Canelands, the pump station have been vandalized and all mechanical and electrical equipment was stolen. With regards to Sandfield, both pump station are out for repairs. With regards to Naidi Road, teams have been dispatched to undertake investigation and implement necessary remedial actions. And question number 7, what is the total budget that is required to fix or upgrade all sewer-related infrastructure in the eThekwini municipality? The total budget required to fix the sanitation and wastewater infrastructure is estimated to be around 3 billion. A report on the status of sanitation and wastewater infrastructure and financial implication was presented to ESCO for noting, and action is attached in the responses for information. Number 8, how many directives have been served on eThekwini municipalities by national provincial authority in respect of sewer-related infringement? There's a total of 13 directives and notices of non-compliance that have been issued to eThekwini with regarding to what is being asked in this question. And the last question, what is the status of the above directive and how were they addressed? And the response is that an action plan has been developed to attend to the directive and is currently being implemented. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Siyabonga kakhulu Councillor Soga. Impendulo zembuzo page 16 kuze kuphele page 17. Sesalelwe imbuzo page 18 and page 19. May I have responses, please, on the question on page 18? Councillor Ndlovu, your hand is up.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I'm responding to the questions on page 18.
Okay, thank you.
The answer to question 1. The department has 33 law enforcement officers who are responsible to enforce municipal bylaws, that is beach bylaws, nuisance bylaws, informal trading bylaws. There are written notices in terms of section 341 of CPA and section 56, CPA 1977. They patrol the areas, attend to complaints, beach, parks, public toilets, open spaces, our facilities, grounds, and other areas. They provide backup lifeguards and beach maintenance, do facilities inspection, and report to the damages or vandalism. They undertake raids or cleanup with various departments in our parks, dunes, beach, etc. They do arrest as well if someone was caught stealing or taken to SAPS, and they process the paperwork. If there's a dead body, they do crowd control and wait on the scene till SAPS arrive at the scene. They patrol the parks, deal with the complaints, remove homeless people, and deal with those who breaks the law in our parks and keep our parks safe and clean. It must also be noted that parks is not responsible for all open spaces, and the number of law enforcement officers are not adequate to service the entire city. Answer to question 2. District 1, 1, District 2, 2, District 3, 4, District 4, 0, District 5, 5, District 6, 2, District 7, 5, District 8, 3, District 9, 1, District 10, 10, which is equal to 33. Answer to question 3. Charges, warnings, and redirects illegal activities, illegal events, urinating, driving on foreshore without a permit, drove or parking prohibited parts of the beach, fishing from the pier, illegal vendors, illegal photographers, theft, beggars, bath in shower with soap, ball games, dozers, homeless in our parks and the beach, public drinking loud music, stealing mussels, does rituals, smoking dacha, batas, etc. Charges 169, warnings 12,440, redirects 8,676, lost children 6. Raids are done by LOEs alone, which are law enforcement officers, 14. Raids are typically done once a week with other law enforcement agencies, Metro, UIP, DSW, and other. 10 raids were done in the period. Answer to question 4. To employ park monitors to access the eyes and ears of the parks and open spaces to ensure the safety and well-being of all the park's guests, as well as aid and guidance where needed. it will be the duty of the park monitor to ensure that each guest has an enjoyable and a memorable experience. Have at least patrol now and then in 2 hours. Do raid, clean up at night and early morning in our parks. Put signboards are there to send messages and our visibilities to remind them and do enforcement. Answer to question 5, signboards were erected, removed and vandalized regularly due to them being metal. They are stolen and used as scrap metal. The department will investigate the use of a different material. Answer to question 6, lighting in parks is the competence of the electricity department. Broken or stolen lights are regularly reported. Performers were sent to architectural services and due to limited budgets and delay, we were unable to fix. Answer to question 7, there are no specific numbers of staff deployed per park. There are maintenance standards for all parks. Grade 1 are cut every 7 days. Grade 2 are cut every 14 days. Grade 3 are cut every 21 days. Due to lack of equipment resources, adverse weather, theft of equipment, and other various departments has been unable to meet these standards as per our maintenance standard. Answer to question 8, to make sure parks are fenced, install bollards, and reinstall signboards, and appoint park monitors, employ more LEOs, which are law enforcement officers, to do regularly patrols, the signs to be put up at the gates and inside the park as well. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor Ndlovu. That was page 18. The last set of questions are on page 19 and page 20. Let's have the answers.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The questions are as follows. For question 1, how many TLBs, excavators, tippers, flatbed trucks does the water and sanitation unit have? And the answer is we have 62 TLBs, 2 excavators, 7 tippers, 2 flatbeds, and 9 rollback. Question 2, of these fleets, how many of the above is allocated at the South Depot? And the response is out of 62, 6, excavators 0, tippers 0, flatbed 0, rollback 1. Further to that, how many of these are in a working order? And TLBs out of 62, 47 are working. Out of 2 excavators, only 1. Out of 7 tippers, 2. Flatbeds, none are working.
Yes,
And rollback out of...
Sisoga, can I interrupt you? I saw a hand from the author of the previous question, Councillor Tipo. I will give you a chance to speak after Councillor Soga has finished responding to all the questions in page 19. Thank you. Proceed, Councillor Soga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Question 5, where is the broken and non-functioning equipment and machinery sent for repairs and maintenance? They are sent to Bell Equipment and to Springfield Depot. Question 6, are they returned to the South Depot after repairs? And the answer is yes. 7, list the heavy machinery and equipment booked in for repairs and indicates the dates on which they were booked. And I have the spreadsheets. Can you let me get back to that one? Question 8, what is the turnaround time for repairs and is the time frame being adhered to? And the question is, it varies. Mainly it depends on the nature of repairs and order numbers. 9, states the nature of repairs for which this equipment and heavy machinery have been booked for. There is variety of them. Some are booked for engine problems, they are heating, diff, brakes, transmitters, cylinders, transmission box, gears not taking, and wiring is bent. So mostly those are challenges that makes these vehicles to be taken to depots to be repaired. And that is question 9. Question 10. For what time is the equipment permitted to be out of commission? Turnaround time are dependent on the nature of repairs that is required. Question 11. Is a periodic inventory and inspection conducted at the South Depot in respect of working order equipment and machinery? If yes, what does the report for the past 6 months entail? And the answer is periodic inventory not done, but pre-inspection are done daily and the running sheets are available. Question 12, what are the challenges experienced in that spoils and rubble is only removed weeks after repairs have been completed? And the answer is that there is vehicle shortages and frequent breakdown. 13, has the spares shortages in stores been resolved? If not, what is the preventing timers, sourcing and procurement? A response, parts shortages in stores is not yet resolved. Please kindly note that the procurement and replenishing of parts is under supply chain and city fleets. City fleets relies on them in terms of parts availability. So the best people to respond would be supply chain. To resolve the matter, city fleets and supply chain are having weekly meetings to identify the required parts in order to ensure that all parts are available. There is marked improvement, even though the issue is not entirely addressed as yet. However, continuous engagement seems to be yielding positive results. Last question. No, question 14. What does the water and sanitation units intend decentralizing heavy machinery, equipment, and spares to the South Depot to facilitate efficient service delivery to residents? And the answer to that is decentralization has already commenced, and it started on Tuesday, 19th January 2022. Is there a mechanism in place that links water and sanitation control room to the city fleet section, which could indicate availability of heavy machinery and equipment when required by depots? And the response is operator pre-books require machinery and equipment via radio or telephonically. This is then recorded on Faultman system. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Councillor Soga. We've responded to all our questions, but before I make comments on how in future this question will be handled, Councillor Chantel, your hand was up.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to request my questions in writing, please, the answer to my questions.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Councillor Mangnale. Councillor Jane, your hand is up. Jane Naidu.
Thank you, Chairperson. Just to add on to the IFP's request that all written responses be communicated to our office. And further to that, I just want to make an input to the decentralization as commencing as per January. The South Depot is indicating that none of
You don't discuss questions. We are noting your request. Responses will be sent to you in writing as per your request. There's no problem with that, but you can discuss questions. Thank you very much,
Chair was not discussing. Chair was just indicating that the answers are not correct. Thank
You
you,
are not
Chair.
recognized. Councillors, thank you. Responding to questions have taken much of council time, But I now realize that maybe we need to change the way we do things allowed by the rules. In future, when we are dealing with Section 27 questions, we are going to have discussions with whips in the Speaker and whips committee and agree on time to be allocated to questions. If maybe the time lapse without finishing or responding to all the questions, all those questions will be then referred to the next council meeting. Rules allows us to do that because I'm trying to manage time in council. I've seen today we had 11 questions and it took us hours to respond to those questions. We're going to improve on that in future, but after a discussion with whip of parties. Thank you very much. We'll now move to page 21 on our council agenda. These are ESCO reports. I will invite His Worship the Mayor, Councillor Kaunda, to table the ESCO report. His Worship the Mayor. Before approaches His Worship, Councillor Manqele and Councillor J, please lower your hands. Please lower your hands. His Worship, proceed.
Ngiyabonga Somlomo. Ngibingelele kuthina sonke sikhona endlini abahlonipheki bonke amakhansela nama-officials ne-media ikhona. The first report of the executive committee is for a meeting that was held on the 19th of the 7th month, 2022. That's the first report, Somlom.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. Before I allow the city manager to present the report, I should have asked councillors if are there any councillors who want to declare interest on this item. There's no one to declare interest. Thank you very much, Mngoni.
Thank you, Chair. The first report is the report of Governance and Human Resources Committee meeting held on the 13th of July, 2022. 1.1 Men's Webinar 2022, Committee recommends.
Thank you very much. Ngoni, I've got speakers on page 21, 1.1. I've got Councillor M.S. Kuala and Councillor Madlala. Councillor Kuala, you are recognized, you can speak. I'm sure your mic is unmuted. If not, please, Jim, unmute Councillor Kuala's mic.
Angibonga Somlomo. Njenga-IFP uhlelo siyalibona nenhloso nqangi yalo, kodwa ke sine concern yokuthi siyenze ngalendlela yobuchwepheshe bewebhina, ngoba it is too challenging. Mhlambe ngeke ngaveza enkulumeni yami indaba ye-network nokunye okusasihlasele njengamanje. So as much as sizama ukutransforma ne-technology, mhlambe abantu abazi indaba zeyinkomfa bayaku-understand ukuthi at some point lega visual iyadinga si-transithe ngendlela eyiyona, ngoba i-seriousness ye-awareness kuma-basic issues involving men into serious kakhulu le Somlomo ne-council. So uma siyenza ibe yi-webinar, it's more of we are trying to meet municipal standards just for record purposes. But as IFP, we accept, kodwa we have such consent ukuthi at some point ezinye izinto zinhle mazenzeka physical, whereby you'll see even the impression facial. Siyabonga Somlomo.
Thank you very much, Councillor Kuala. Councillor Madlala.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Let me start by thanking Councillor Kuala and assuring him that such concerns are taken on board, and we are going to try and improve next time. We were forced by issues beyond our control not to have the men's engagement physically. So we decided that we are going to have it on a virtual platform. We appreciate all the speakers that came and spoke, and we appreciate, we thank TCM Makatini and TCM Tele for all their efforts in ensuring that this webinar was held, and it brings forth one of the important issues when it comes to the issue of men, this being the Men's Month, especially around issues of mental health. We've seen of late how many men commit suicide, how many men will shoot entire families and then turn the gun on themselves. Now, while we need to condemn that, but there are causes beyond our just the cursory understanding of the situation that we needed to go to. And the discussion in that webinar was very deep, was very sincere, and it pointed to the issues that as government, we need to have more engagements with men. Because you will find that here in eThekwini, for instance, Honorable Speaker, we live in a very violent society. eThekwini as a city finds itself in a very violent province. This is testament in the crime stats. You'll find that Umlazi and Inanda are leading in the conduct crimes stats when it comes to murders, when it comes to attempted murders, and comes to rape. Now, within that space, you'll find that men are also dying, while men in some instances are the perpetrators, but victims are also men. The high incarceration rate, when you go to Westville prison, because we are a prison city as well, you'll find that most of the people you'll find there in terms of the population is men. So men are getting, and if you go to like your funeral parlors, you'll find that most people who die every day in terms of the stats are men. Now, there needs to be a discussion around those issues because men are perpetrators in some instances, but by and large, men are also victims. We'll find that even those who are perpetrators are also victims. Hence the saying that hurt people hurt people. So it was important that we had that webinar. We thank all parties involved. We are going to ensure that we have more discussions around to try and have them at a physical level the next time to ensure that we bring the humanity to it. We can touch and feel the people who are in pain. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Councillor Madlala. City Manager. Oh, sorry. Councillors, page 21, 1.1 is the recommendation agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you. Ngone.
.2, naming of street in Ward 58 covering Salter Development Committee recommends.
Recommendation agreed?
Great.
Thank you, City Manager.
Somlomo.
Yes, there's
Councillor
someone.
Kuala Somlomo.
Yes, Bob Kuala.
Kanti sine-speaker la bengicela ucheck-e kuyilokhuzana yakho kune-speaker la uKhansela uNxumalo.
No, we
IFP.
don't. We don't have a speaker.
Somlomo.
Yes, ma'am.
Lokho ngiqinisekisile ngoba izolo I'm the one who submitted the IFP list. I have an email esho njalo. I gave it to Nombulelo, and I have a proof here, Leon.
On item 1.2, page 21.
It's page 21.
Page 21. Okay, I
Very
don't have
double check it,
a
Solomon
name
Gitfo.
here, but there's no problem. I can allow Councillor Ngumalo to speak. Councillor Ngumalo. Councillor Ngumalo. Let's please raise your hand so that we unmute you this side. Councillor Ngumalo. Babkwala asikhulume naye aphakamisa isandla. Uma ungamthola wena. Babkwala.
Yebo Somlo.
Uyakwazi ukumthola?
Angimtholi kwamanje ngicela sedlule Somlo.
Okay, thank you very much. Councillors, is the recommendation agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you. City Manager.
1.3. Request for authority to renew memorandum of understanding between the eThekwini municipality and the Department of Home Affairs. Committee recommends.
1.2, 1.3, page 22, I've got a list of speakers. It's a little bit long. I've got Councillor Maharaj, Councillor Pillay, Councillor Said, Councillor N. Mkize, Councillor Eskumete, Councillor McPherson, and then Councillor Madlala, in that order. Councillor Maharaj.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, this memorandum of understanding in its current form is not supported by the minority front, as the explanation points to gaps in the process, which makes the city vulnerable to high risk of overcrowding and the burden of social ill arises. The hosting of the services of the Department of Home Affairs at the city's Sizakala centers and other buildings to ensure congestion and frustration at the Department of Home Affairs is commendable and urgently needed. But the responsibility and payment of volunteers should be that of Home Affairs, as this is high risk, especially for documentation of immigrants. The gray area here is citizenship and the criteria used. As a metro, we cannot encourage overcrowding. In fact, I submit that a mobile home affairs vehicle may be a better option. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Maharaj, Councillor Pillay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the DLC welcomes this initiative and program of action between eThekwini and Home Affairs. The reality exists that Home Affairs are not providing efficient services to our citizens. The long queues whereby hundreds of people are turned away on a daily basis because of a shortage of staff, or their computer systems are overloaded and continuously goes offline. This mode of operation by Home Affairs, Mr. Speaker, frustrates our citizens because poor people whom are turned away do not have transport fees to go back and forth. This MOU between the city and Home Affairs is needed and was very successful previously in fast-tracking ID applications in eThekwini. Mr. Speaker, the DLC requests that once the MOU is concluded with Home Affairs, the flood victims who have lost their IDs in the floods be urgently prioritized and that this program be taken to all the wards within the city. The DLC supports this recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Said.
Mr. Speaker, I've got minutes donated to me from the TA, if that can be added, Speaker.
No, they don't donate meeting to you, minutes to you, they inform me through an email that they are donating
They ha-
minutes to. I don't have that email. Proceed.
They have sent it through, Speaker. Thank you, Speaker.
No, I don't have that
Speaker,
email.
in terms of good, Speaker, it is in the email.
No, Said, let's not argue. You don't have any minute
Okay.
donated to you. Please speak within your minutes. No donation.
Okay, thank you, Speaker. Good afternoon, Speaker and fellow colleagues. Whilst in principle the Active Citizens Coalition supports any intervention with regard to the issues of Home Affairs and Home Affairs officers, we must reiterate in terms of the request being tabled before us today and in terms of the Memorandum of Understanding, we firstly would like to see that the expired Memorandum of Understanding be tabled before us with the amendments that are proposed. That's number one. Number two, in terms of the volunteers, would it be such that the volunteers that have been part of the expired MOU be a part of the new dispensation in terms of the new MOU? And in light of this, the ACC does not support this to move through now, but rather move to defer it back to committee for finalization and a full understanding of exactly how the volunteer program should work. What is the outcomes of these volunteers? How do they support the Department of Home Affairs? And how do they move forward? We'd also like to advise that this should be a youth-centric program, and the turnover time of the youth involved in this, if any, should be a period of maximum of 12 months. Thank you, Speaker.
Yeah, thank you very much, Councillor Said. Councillor Mkhize. Councillor Mkhize. Let's move. Councillor Komete. Komete.
Speaker.
Yes, is that Councillor Komete?
No, it's Councillor Mkhize. Can you please unmute her on your side?
Okay. Councillor Mkhize, please raise your hands so the team will see you and unmute you. Apologies, Councillor Mkhize, you are now unmuted. You can speak.
Angibonge Speaker. Ngibingelele namakhansela wonke omkhandlu. Si-AFF siya support. Esifuna ukwazi bangaki amavolontiya azodingeka ukwenza lo msebenzi. We propose as EFF ukuthi bangahlali ema-office baphume baye emphakathini baye nasezikoleni ngoba kunabafundi abanganazo izitifiketi zokuzalwa nomazisi. Babuye baye nasemtholampilo ukuze kusizakale omama abangathathi ntweni ukuze ube seduze umnyango wasemakhaya. Si-EFF besicela ukuthi mase beya emphakathini babhekelelwe ngezokuphepha babe nomfanekiso wabo abazobonakala ngawo. Besicela abazokwenza lo msebenzi umphakathi waziswe ngawo. Si-EFF besicela ukwazi ukuthi bazozuza malini abazokwenza lo msebenzi. Besicela uma sekuthathwa amavolontiya kubhekelelwe kuwo wonke amawadi, kubhekelelwe nentsha ehleli emakhaya eneziqu, kungakhethwa amavolontiya kaKhongolose kuphela. Our stand as EFF, we support the living immigrants. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Mkhize. Councillor Komete.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, the ACDP notes that the urgent need for an intervention to speed up the signing of MOU. This will essentially help the incompetent system within the Department of Home Affairs. It is said that the elderly and many other residents have to start queuing from 4 p.m. Some they do sleep over just to apply for an ID document. The ACDP hopes this cost will be covered by the Department of Home Affairs and not the municipal. Let's start helping our people toward a better South Africa. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor Kumete. Councillor McPherson. Please raise your hand so that we assist you this side. The team will unmute you.
Speaker, Councillor Mcheto.
Yes, Mcheto.
Yeah, maybe before Councillor McPherson comes in, as I expressed this morning regarding the confusion of the speakers list, it was supposed to be Councillor McPherson and Councillor Warren Ben, because Warren Ben has got to propose an amendment. But there's a whole lot of confusion going on between what is submitted and the office. If you could allow Councillor McPherson, please. I mean, Councillor Warren Ben.
Oh, okay. You are trying to
We'll
say...
We'll try and this confusion cleaned up during caucuses.
Okay. Babu Mcheto, I was trying to say Councillor McPherson is not the speaker on this item, but is another councillor.
It is Councillor McPherson and Warren Ben, but Warren Ben has got to come first because he's proposing an amendment.
Okay, let me allow, because I saw his hand, can I allow him to speak? Can you speak, Councillor? Babu Mcheto, I'm giving him a chance to speak, but he's not speaking. Maybe his mic is muted.
It is Councillor Warren Ben. Maybe if your team can unmute him.
Speaker, am I unmuted?
Yes, you are.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you for accommodating me. The amendment I intend to propose, I'll put in the chat box if you want to pick it up there, but if necessary, I can read it to you. It says it's an amendment, obviously, to this item on page 22. It says, by the addition of the following words at the end of recommendation 1, stop 3, stop 1 on page 23, and the additional words will read, provided that the stipend shall be paid by the Department of Home Affairs and not by eThekwini municipality. We've already had one speaker mention that this very point, so I'm glad to hear there's traction with the principle. At face value, the memorandum between the municipality and the Department of Home Affairs is a good idea because we all know what problems they have. And where there's no cost to the municipality, it's an absolute given. But the municipal budget is not a bottomless pit, and anything spent on paying a stipend means that some other municipal service will suffer. So the DA does not support the principle of the municipality paying this expense for the Department of Home Affairs, hence the proposal, which is self-evident, and I won't spend more time motivating it. So I propose that amendment and ask that you put it to the vote even before the issue gets debated on further. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Councillor. Councillors, I still have the last speaker here, Councillor Madlala, but there is a proposal that we have to deal with and exhaust it. That there is a proposal for an amendment of which it has been read to council. Can I check whether the amendment is supported or is accepted? Can I get an indication, councillors, on the proposed amendment in this report or recommendation? Whether it's accepted?
Supported.
It is supported.
Yes, Chair, it's supported.
Thank you.
The amendment is not supported by the ANC.
Come again? I hear Madlala saying is not supported.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Because the amendment is not supported, I will then ask the councillor who have proposed an amendment to speak more on the amendment before we vote. On the proposed amendment. Over to you, councillor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Am I still audible?
Yes, you are.
Thank you. Well, I've indicated what the essence of the objection is, that it can't be for the ratepayers of eThekwini to have to fund a service for the Department of Home Affairs, which is itself in desperate need of that service. My colleague, Rory McPherson, who will be speaking to this issue, was going to speak to the substantive matter, but maybe you should, if you could allow him to speak now on the amendment and the substantive issue at the same time, it will put it all in context, because I know he's prepared the argument why this can't be for the ratepayers' expense to bear this cost, which, if it assists the efficiency of Home Affairs, is admirable. So with that, I'll rest my case as far as the amendment is concerned. If you'd like to accommodate Councillor McPherson at this stage on the amendment, I think it would put it all in context. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Is Councillor McPherson back now? Before we take a decision through votes.
Chair.
Is it Councillor McPherson?
That's Councillor Mchetho.
Yes, Ma'am Chair.
Councillor McPherson is not speaking on the amendment. He's speaking on the substantive item. So let's dispense with the amendment first and vote on it if we have to. Then Councillor McPherson will come back to speak on the item itself. He's not speaking on the amendment.
Oh, I thought the letter speaker was saying that, but Councillor McPherson is also appears in my list, hence I keep on mentioning him. Councillors, let me get the screen, please, so that we get an indication of those who are in support of the amendment, of those who are not. Let me have the screen. Yes, there was an indication from the ANC that they are not supporting the amendment, but let's check that formally. ANC? ANC, can I get an indication? Are you in support of the amendment or not? DA?
We do support an amendment, Chairperson.
Thank you. EFF?
We support the amendment, Speaker.
Thank you. IFP?
What do you say, 4 year?
We are not in support of the amendment.
Not in support, thank you. Action SA?
We support. We don't support, sorry.
You don't support, thank you.
Sorry,
APC?
Sorry.
APC?
Sorry, Chair.
APC, we don't support.
We don't support. ACC?
We support the amendment.
Support. ACTP?
Support the amendment.
AIC?
What was saying?
AIC?
What do you think? We don't supporting the amendment. Supporting. No.
AIC?
Alan. Yeah, wait, I'm changing it now.
No. Councillors, please mute your mics. You are disrupting the meeting. AIC? DLC?
DLC supports the amendment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
ATEC, they are not here. APF? ATM.
Unmuted.
ATM.
APF against.
ATM not in support. Aljama.
Aljama abstains.
Abstain. Thank you. JP.
JP against.
Thank you. KZNI.
KZNI not support.
Thank you.
Against.
MF.
Abstain.
Mosa. They are not part of the meeting. NFP.
Support the amendment.
NFP.
Also, I made a mistake here. I made it. I'm sorting it out now. Yeah, I made a mistake.
NFP. Councillors. There are councillors who constantly speaking while we are in a meeting. We have requested.
NFP against speaker.
NFP is against. PRM. No. It's PFP before PRM. Yeah, PFP. PFP is, they are sending a chart, they're abstaining. PRM.
I support the amendment as PRN.
Thank you. TA.
TA is abstaining.
Thank you. EMI.
UIM4.
Support. Thank you. Freedom Front.
Support.
In support.
Support the amendment.
Freedom Front, we are not in support, or you are in support.
Speaker, there's a change here, Speaker.
No. I'm speaking to the councillor from Freedom France. Freedom
We
Front.
do not support the amendment.
Not-
We do not support the amendment, Speaker.
Not support the amendment. Right? There was
Speaker,
someone who was
Speaker, I
speaking.
made a mistake, Speaker.
Who was that?
Speaker, is Action SA. We
Right.
support the amendment, please.
Action SA support the amendment. They are changing their votes. Thank you.
Yes.
Mr.
DLC.
Speaker, you have not recorded the DLC supports the amendment.
Yeah,
Thank
DLC
you.
have voted already. Who else have not voted? APF.
We were muted, Speaker.
Yeah. Now
APF against.
APF against. Thank you.
Speaker, AIC is voting against.
Who's that? AIC.
AIC.
Siyabonga. Yeah, all parties now have voted. Yeah, let's add the numbers, please. Thank you very much, councillors. Those who are in support of the amendment, there are 86. Those who are against, there are 106. Those who have abstained, there are 4. Therefore, the proposed amendment is being rejected by council. Thank you very much. We'll now go back to the substantive item and continue with the list of speakers on the item. Councillor McPherson, then Madlala.
Yeah, thank you, Speaker. Let me first of all start off by saying, I understand that the ANC would vote against it. Even if it was the best amendment, they would just, so we get it, we understand it. But the disappointment really, I suppose, is with the IFP and the MF and the Freedom Front, because effectively the way that Home Affairs is funded is from Treasury. Treasury receives its funding from the taxpayer. So the taxes are paid to National Treasury. They then send it to Home Affairs. And as was mentioned earlier, by the ACDP, it's probably one of the worst departments, most inefficient departments, Home Affairs. It's a disgrace to go in there. The elderly, the sick, often having to lay on the floor. It's a corrupt department. It's dysfunctional, to say the least. And that's being funded by Treasury. Now what you want to do is you're going to tap the ratepayer. So you double dipping. The ratepayer who pays taxes to National Treasury for an efficient run Home Affairs, you now, as this municipality, going to now add an additional levy to the ratepayer. And as the DA, we're going to make that known to those that voted against it. So against our proposals, they get a sense of who's fighting for what and who's looking out for whoever. We agree as a Democratic Alliance. The Home Affairs is a basket case. It needs all the help that it can get. But when you talk about the volunteers, who by the way are not volunteers because they're getting a stipend, it says empowering volunteers to build capacity and provide infrastructure. But then further on, it says pertaining to the scope of volunteers, we don't really get what they're going to be doing, because the staff of Home Affairs, the real ones, there's risks involved, so it's only them that are going to be dealing with the specifics. So what training, what skills are the volunteers? What are they going to be doing? Nobody gets a sense of that. And the other thing, for those that were misled into supporting or going to support this, why should the municipality have to now take on the affairs of job description, of labor matters? Why should that become our problem? Why does this municipality, the ANC, allow ourselves to be burdened? We now have to put additional staff. We're short-staffed as it is, to look after the day-to-day basics of what the staff requirements are, and so on and so forth. We've already taken on clinics, library, housing, and now Home Affairs. Where does that stop? Where do you, as the governing party, draw a line in the sand and say, no, sure, we'll make space available at the Sizikala Center. We know it's a disgraceful run entity. We know that the people suffer. We know that the turnaround time is impossible. We'll do whatever we can. We'll facilitate whatever we can. But we're not going to double dip. We're not making the hard-pressed ratepayer pay again on top of everything else. We'll help you with all the other stuff that doesn't cost us. But you, as Home Affairs, get your own house in order. You pay for it. You become efficient. It's unacceptable. And that's why the DA put its hand up and says, we'll support this, for sure, 100%. But we're not going to pay for it. You can't keep tapping the same small group, which is declining all the time. So on that basis, we will not be supporting this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor McPherson. Councillor Madlala.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. As the ANC, we support this initiative. In fact, we want to remind council that this is a renewal of an existing MOA, which saw 100 volunteers from the city going and assisting with the backlog at Home Affairs. This has assisted our people greatly, and we think it's a good. One of the problems that I'm seeing here, I'm observing here, is that we want to politicize this. We want to weaponize it against the ANC. This is not an ANC. This is not an ANC issue. It's an issue of a city that cares for its residents. Every time when you go past at 10 o'clock at night, if you go past Commercial Road, Commercial Street, Home Affairs, or you go past Ungeni Road, Home Affairs, and see the elderly, the young, queuing there overnight, only to be assisted the following day if they are fortunate to be within the numbers that the office can take. If you can do that and still come back to council here and tell us that we are wasting ratepayers' money, we are double dipping and doing and saying all these things that Councillor McPherson was saying, even going as far as saying the people who supported who did not support the amendment misled. It means you are unfeeling, you are indifferent to the suffering. I am not surprised, however, because some people have never queued a day in their lives. So I've seen the people who are queuing there. It's my own mother, it's our own neighbors. It's the people who have no other means than to go and sit there, because sometimes they are just sitting there because they cannot afford the return fee to go back home and come back again. Now, these are the people who are doing this for. And I'm sure any sensible ratepayer in the city will say, if we are putting money to address that, will say, at least the city is doing something. Because there are other attendant problems that arose and arise out of that. Now, when the 100 or so people are queuing outside Commercial Street, Home Affairs, where are the toilets to relieve themselves if they are going to stay there overnight? Now, this is just but one problem. There are many others that you can talk to. So I think the city is doing a good initiative. I appreciate what the EFF and other parties have raised in terms of saying we need to do more. And we need to ensure that when we put these volunteers in, we don't politicize this thing. It's the volunteers. It's the volunteers that are taken from everywhere in the city. They are not political and they are not sectarian in any way. We appreciate that, and we must endeavor to do that as a city. So we thank the departments involved, and we think they must go ahead, they must go forward and ensure that this becomes a relief to the many people of our city who are suffering. The issue of fixing of Home Affairs, while it is not, we are lobbying that we get the result and all of that, but we are doing what is within our power to ensure that while Home Affairs is fixing these problems, at least the people of our city are getting a service that they deserve. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councillor Madlala. Councillors, is the recommendation on page 22, item 1.3 agreed?
No. Speaker.
Okay.
Speaker, we move for a deferment.
Let me get a screen, because there are those who don't support the item.
Speaker, we move for a deferment.
You move what?
We moved for a deferment. We
No,
want this deferred back.
I didn't pick up
When we
councillor.
spoke, Speaker, as ACC, when we spoke, we requested a deferment.
You requested a deferment before we receive a proposal of an amendment.
Correct.
Okay, you are making my life difficult now, because
I'm making it easy, Speaker.
While you were speaking, no. Already I've dealt with the issue of the amendment. Now I'm taking the matter to the votes. you are bringing something that I didn't pick up when you were talking, because it need to be supported by council before we entertain it, because now we are voting on whether the item is being agreed or not. Do get what I'm saying?
I hear you, Speaker, but I spoke to a deferment.
Yes, I'm
I
not.
spoke to this to be deferred back to the committee.
I'm not rejecting that. I'm saying, unfortunately, I did not pick up that. I remember when you were speaking, but I didn't pick up that the proposal of a team. No, I can deal with it. I don't have a problem with it. I can deal with both of them. Councillors, as I've explained in my engagement with Councillor Said, that while he was in my list, when he was speaking, I didn't pick up the proposal of an item to be deferred. But maybe before we decide whether we support the item or not, let me entertain that proposal, because he was indeed one of the speakers in my list. It's just me who didn't pick up that while he was speaking. There's a proposal to defer the item back to the committee. Councillors, is there a second for that proposal?
I second it.
Is there a seconder?
Councillor Eastman.
You second that it be deferred.
Second.
Any contrary view?
The Freedom Front Plus is not in support to defer the matter. Just
Freedom Front Plus is not supporting that the matter be deferred. There are other hands. Councillor Mohammed, your hand is up.
My hand up at that time.
Okay, by that time. Okay, thanks.
When I tried to vote that time, I could not speak. I was unmuted, so I put my hand up then. But now I can see I can't use the facility. So thank you, Speaker.
Okay, thank you very much, councillors. Councillors, the proposed item to be deferred, there's a counter on the proposal. Now, because I've already allowed Councillor Said to express himself on the view, I need to check. Councillor, can I have the screen, please? Before we decide whether the matter is approved or not. Quickly, councillors, there's a proposal that the matter be deferred back to the committee, and there's a counter proposal. Let me get an indication quickly before we make a decision. ANC? ANC?
Disagree.
ANC is against. Thank you. DA?
We would support the deferment just to make some sense into Councillor Mandala.
Or the DA support EFF?
Speaker, we're against, and also the numbers that were 22, not 21.
Thank you, Councillor. IFP?
We abstain.
Abstain. Action SA?
So we support.
APC? APC?
APC against.
ACC?
We support our own proposal.
Thank you. ACTP?
4.
Thank you. AIC?
AIC against.
Okay, thank you. TLC?
Support.
Thank you. ATEC is not here. APF?
Against. The APF is against.
Okay, thank you. ACM?
Against.
Al-Jama?
Support, Chair.
Thank you. JEP?
JEP against.
Thank you. KZNI?
KZNI against.
MF?
Support.
Musa? They are absent. NFP? PRM?
NFP against.
NFP against PRM? PFP? PFP?
PRM abstain.
PRM abstain. PFP?
PFP supports.
TA?
Most of them.
TA?
TA support. Support.
Thank you.
Please, Speaker, unmute me.
Yeah, Mamo, Kazrumian, because you can address me, it means you are unmuted. I can hear you. Thank you. UMI?
URM against.
Okay, Freedom Front Plus?
Freedom Front Plus against.
Thank you. Let's double check. Has everyone voted? It looks like everyone has voted. Let's add the numbers, Secretariat. Yeah, thank you very much. Those who are in support of the proposal is 114. No, please correct this. Okay, yes. Those who are in support for is 66. Those who are against, 114. Those who abstained, 15. Apologies, councillors. Earlier, I was given wrong figures. Those are the correct figures. Those who are for, 66. Those who are against, 114. Those who abstain, 15. It means the proposed referral back of the item is being rejected by council. Let's proceed, councillors. Now, there was we are about to start a process of discussing whether the item is being supported or not. Let me get the screen already, because there was an indication that there are those who are not supporting the item to be carried through. Quickly, let me have the screen. We are now voting whether the item is supported or not. Earlier, we were voting on whether the item be deferred back to the committee or not. Now, ANC, are you in support of the item or not?
Support.
DA?
We are against the chairperson.
EFF?
Support, Speaker.
IFP.
Speaker, I've requested that you sort us numbers, please.
Thank you, Councillor.
IF
Can you please correct the numbers from the EFF? They've raised the issue before. Update their numbers. IFP.
We support.
Action SA.
Against.
APC. ACC.
Not in support, thank you.
ACTP.
Support.
AIC.
AIC support, Speaker.
THC.
DLC supports, Speaker. Thank you.
APF.
APF supports, Speaker.
HCM.
For.
Al-Jama.
Al-Jama support, Speaker.
JP.
JP support.
KZNI.
KZNI support, Speaker.
MF.
Against.
Mosa, they are not here. NFP. NFP.
NFP supports. NFP supports. NFP supports.
PFP.
PFP supports.
PRM.
Speaker, I support this one. Thank you.
CA.
CA support.
VMI.
UIM support.
Thank you. Freedom Front Plus.
In support, Speaker.
No. Speaker, APC support.
Thank you. We've now all voted. PRM. Becela uphinde akuzwakala kahle.
No, PRM supports this one.
Siyabonga baba. Mnikazi. Let's add numbers, please. Yeah, thank you very much, councillors. Those who are in support of the ISM to be carried through is 136. Those who are against is 60. There were no abstentions. Therefore, the item is being carried through. Thank you very much, councillors. Councillors, I believe all of you have now received the third supplementary agenda that has been emailed to you in the past few minutes. We are now going to take a 45-minute break because I just want to allow political parties to caucus on some of the items that are contained in the third supplementary agenda. Then we will come back after 45 minutes and continue with our agenda. City manager on page 23. Then we will then proceed after that. Let's have a break of 45 minutes, councillors. Councillor Mthethwa?
Chairperson,
Yes.
thank you, Chairperson. With respect, may I request that at least you make that an hour, because we're going to have to log off here and
Agreed.
go and go to.
Agreed, Babu Mthethwa, I'm giving you an hour, no problem.
So what time will come back at 25 to 3?
Yeah, 2:30. Can you come back at, can you come back at 2:30?
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Councillors, let's take a break. Let's come back at 2:30. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.